Don't doubt the boys. Never doubt the boys. Australia is the second best team in the world again. That's right, we did it in 3 days against a very, very poor West Indian side that were never really in the hunt, Pezza.
Oh, what are we talking? 170-run win, 3 days, early tea time. Donald Robert Argus sleeps well tonight. What's the problem? There was never a problem in this game. And for those who were doubting the boys, understand the game of cricket. It's 4 innings. Okay, yeah. There's 2 innings each. There is such a thing called middle order security. I wouldn't call it safety. But there is such a thing as middle order shelter and security. And we received it, and then the boys went to work. Snarling, growling, prowling. So
the boys pissed it in. They pissed it in, Pezza. Pissed it in, and they've won by an innings somehow. Wait till both teams bat on it twice. That's the old saying.
It's an innings now, is it? I like it. Yes. Well, first let's buy an innings. Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Australia winning in 3 days. You couldn't say inside 3 days, but what else could it be? I guess we scored runs, frankly, and overnight, and that proved the difference. It's funny how that works. We were saying overnight, he goes, that like we would have devoured, hands and, carpals and metacarpals and radius, your ulnar, for a lead of 200. 175, I'm probably chewing on it. I'm gnawing on it. I'm noshing on that. And the boys gave us 300. So 175. They gave us 300 to play with. And it was a trio of 60s, all from 5, 6, and 7, basically the 3 batting positions that everybody in world red ball cricket wants to bat. And yeah, so you're talking, Heady, slug, cares, 60 odd, proactive, aggressive, and ultimately it was enough. They didn't actually. It turns out they didn't even need those runs. So yeah.
Yeah, so Travis Head dropped early on and he made them pay by about 30 or 40. And then West Indies dropped about 19 catches in the game, and they will say that things didn't go their way with the third umpire, and they'd be probably just about right to say that in the fair dinkum department. And yet, we can now crow like everything's all okay, despite West Indies having a fair few sniffs in the game. Drop catches, DRS, etc. But when you get a guy who's 2 metres batting at 6 in a position that everyone wants to bat, and he does the business, and he might just actually be Australia's best ever player in this generation, what are you supposed to do? We've actually just pissed it in. Now, is that going to paper over some cracks? That's not for me to decide. It's Saturday morning. I don't give a fuck. The slug has done the business. West Indies can't catch. The last hour and a half was fucking torture, I'm going to be honest with you. Adrian Holdstock, one of the boys, he'll be having beers with the lads, no question about that. And so let's paper over cracks. And, the dark days are coming, which is different to the dog days are over, which was a Florence Against the Machine song. But I am thinking that, I think actually now it is 5-0 for the Ashes, because this is all just for the Ashes, isn't it?
Yeah, there's problems, but I'll forget them, because
Exactly.
the major numbers that I'm seeing do the business for me. And Travis Head, apparently, like as Australia's flashiest, most flamboyant batter, is low-key the saviour as well. Has bailed us out a few times, Heady. But yeah, 102-run partnership with Slug pretty much takes it out of West Indies' hands. And Shamar Joseph 5 for 87, who apparently reserves his best for Australia, and also annoyed the fuck out of everybody at the end of the game as well. But it did look good on the field. But it did look good. It did look good without a lid. So
yeah, it did.
Helmet, I should say.
Travis Head, I felt really good when Travis Head laughed when he got out, like for a ball that rolled along the floor. Yeah. LBW, he was on 61. He was on 60, whatever the fuck. And the ball rolled and he laughed, and I thought, you know what? Let's just shake hands here. Let's just shake hands here. We have to go through the process of the Westminster system, that being the cricket game, but fundamentally the game was over, and I actually can't believe how good Bo Webster's been for Australia. He has genuinely been near enough the best player in every Test match that he's played, or at least he's getting votes. He's getting votes in the 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Isn't it interesting? Like he hasn't done anything in a game that like completely wins the match in and of itself, like the way Australians understand great performances. But because he hasn't come into the team being heralded as like the greatest player since Bradman, like pretty much every other fucking all-rounder in the Australian team does in the modern era, he's actually been allowed to just be an all-rounder making his contributions. And it turns out since he's started his Test career, he's made 305 runs at 43.5. It's great. You know, you're like, and I'll take it. And he makes the ball talk, and he picks up the odd pole, and the mitts are unrivaled, frankly. And it's interesting. It's just like, because it doesn't come with an expectation. He's just allowed to do that actual job at number 6. And there is going to be a question once Cameron Green can bowl of like, are we gonna just? And obviously we need to look ahead, because what's ahead is more important than what's now. But it's like, are we just gonna like exit the guy that is doing the role exactly like as well as it pretty much is done?
Yeah.
Because what the other thing can be has a ceiling that just gives me, a fantastical erection. And maybe the answer's yes. And that's Australian cricket.
Yeah, so Michael Vaughan's been talking about how 3 guys can play a forward defence in the Australian lineup, and we said the other day 3. And I was looking at Bo Webster getting into like this, like the smallest of small positions, like he's a Spartan with a shield, like crouching down as a pack, like making the most compact forward defence off like Jaden Seals and off Shamar Joseph, and he's actually playing a forward defence like I want Cameron Green to play. Like he's fucking committing to it, you know. Now, it helps when you're averaging 43 and he's doing great things for Australia when he's played so far. But like I'm looking at it and it's just like, yes, this is what we want. Now, can you bat 3? Can you open? You know.
Exactly. I was talking to somebody who used to play club cricket with Slug as well in England, and they were like, "No, he gets his front pad blown off all the time." So he's. I don't think we're quite out of the doldrums.
It's not easy, is it?
Shut up,
Like you played club cricket with him in England. No, mate, front pad 9-11. Don't worry about that, mate.
Oh, well, at the World Test Championship, and he's like, he gets out like that all the time.
Shout out Modders.
Shout out the Modders. K&D. He was being funny. He was being sarcastic. So Kez, it's a 40-ball half century. I'll take it and I'll expect it after nobody else could score runs. And he's boshing blokes and noshing blokes over their head for 6. I can just I go back into a heroin-induced stupor. Like, yeah, that's like just spit rolling down the side of my mouth as I try and sleep
fell in
on
the
the
pool
lounge.
once.
Yeah. I remember the pool stuff. Anyway, middle session, Australia hit 68 off 46. Good night, nurse. And, Shamar Joseph, 9 for 133. Bowled really well. It left the Windies 301 to get, and their highest successful run chase in Bridgetown was when Lara made 153 red, and that target was 308. So it was like, are they going to do that?
And they also showed that at lunchtime, by the way. They showed that on ESPN at lunchtime, which really helped. It really helped vibes, you know?
Yeah, that innings is hot as fuck.
So
that
good.
Is so good. Anyway, because I sort of enjoy cricket, just at a global level. Even I don't really need Australia to do it.
Wasn't Lara a good player?
The second thing, the first thing was some runs, and the second thing, some wickets. I guess before the innings start, you do ask yourself the question: has the wicket flattened out? You know, is it a case of what was once good for the goose is now good for the gander? Don't know what that means. And the answer is no. Stark then Hoff ripped them open. And is there a better bowler on, when the pitch is playing those kinds of tricks as Hoff? Your up and down tricks where he can bowl his tight lines, he's taking an inside edge onto a pad, he's hitting thigh pads, it's pads getting blown off, it's nicks on the outside, and it's the locomotive steam train / wild Brumby bush horses just rolling those shoulders on in. It's like everything he does is just at one pace, but it's an unstoppable pace. It's a rhythmic pace, and you could hear him. You can just hear him just, I don't know why that became dubstep, but yeah.
Mate, so 13th bag for Hoff in Test cricket. And I'm so mad at myself of like, you know, I'm one of the all-time great boysmen. You know, I'm a hype guy. I love the boys. What the boys have done for me in my life. That these are young men, younger than me, that have done things for me in my life. They don't know my name. That's not the point. And when I look at whoever's not playing, I'm like, oh, he's the greatest player of all time. So the last couple of Test matches, I have said, I think I've said it on the show that like, just think about Boland, don't you? And
you got the wandering eye for Boland.
I've got the wandering eye.
Your head's turned, Fat Freddy's drop style.
Yeah, and then like I'm just such a fucking moron because Hazelwood is just like Cummins is the captain, so he's not dropped. Stark is probably bowling as well as he's ever bowled, so that leaves the other Hall of Famer that we've got, Josh Hazelwood, and so like I can't even say the words. It's like, well, I think he should go for Boland because, like, you know, I don't even feel that. But like, I've got the wandering eye for Scott Boland, and then Hazelwood he's just a fucking elite bush horse from the country that grew up with R.M. Williams. He doesn't even know where an MJ Bale is. He doesn't know what CBD means. You know, he's a guy who has straw in his mouth and he eats wheat. You know, that's what he is, and he's just one of the greatest bowlers and cricketers that this country has ever produced. And I'm like, yeah, what about the other guy? I am a fucking idiot. Hazelwood is brilliant. He's just brilliant. And he's more or less won the game for Australia in 15 minutes, you know? Sure, the batters did the work, but, you know, like how easily my head gets turned. I'm a disgrace.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that.
I'm sorry.
No, I agree. It's always really calming, and it's a nice like contrast to how we felt about our own batters. But just to see that thing where the opposition is like hopping, like you know that they could put a partnership on, and maybe you start getting nervous. But when you see them like hopping around, like to Hoff and Cummins from that one particular end that just seemed to be completely variable bounce, you're like, oh, this is very much a matter of when. And if anybody takes this into the fourth day, they should be taken out the back and shot, which they nearly did. Like I kind of respected it in one sense. Like Justin Greaves, I think was kind of ostentatiously blocking the ball, and I was like, I rate that. Like, I rate that. You know, it's a 3-test series, and there seemed to be a little bit of back and forth between the teams. And, you know, so he's just trying to annoy them. They have to start up the whole ground again and turn everything on. And, you know, you have to push back your tea time, etc. You know, nobody really... I mean, so I was going to say no one wants to drink Mount Gay rum, you know, at like 11:30 a.m., but that's probably wrong. You probably do want to drink it. But they get it done. I did want... I wanted like 6 or 7 next to Hoff's name, but I just wanted, because I just think, you know, you've got a fifer, then you can get a daddy, you know, from a bowling perspective, and but I like that Gary has wickets too. Like, you know, so we're getting a little bit entitled, we're getting a bit spoiled, and that's what these guys have done. I can't believe how it, like, to me it's always staggering how much they share it round, these guys. Like they all like. There's only a finite number of wickets you can take in a game, and like they all still manage to have their day in the sun. You know, it's like they just let it. I don't know if it's they let each other do it, or they just balance each other enough, or what it is. And then at the end, like Cummins is like, Gary, it's been a minute for you too. You know, you'll take some tap, but now you finish with 2 next to your name as well, and everyone's got something. Everyone's got a lolly.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose like what I'm about to say next is going to tip into the last thing, but like when I think about how the players would feel about how the test match has gone, like I'm sure they would say winning tests away from home is hard, whoever you play against. Other teams have good players and the conditions are difficult and you have to outlast the opposition. And to win any test away from home is a triumph. And like that is true. And then I think we can all see what's around the corner probably in about February, you know, like let's just give us 6 more months, you know. So, but it's, I think we're sort of getting some dying embers, you know, of just like, what a tremendous cricket team. Now, about 24 hours ago, I was nervous, for what's going to happen in Perth, because we all are. It's natural, But it's just it's a good team. Like the players would be like, we just sorted it out. And I was yelling down a microphone for 3 days, being like, can someone sort this out? And they sorted it out. And they did that because they're a good team. It's not a good story for the rest of the world. Everyone in the world wanted the West Indies to win. But if you're in the team, you're like, we just sorted it out.
Sorry.
We just sorted it out.
We say this regularly, but it is I think for the Australia. Yeah, so let's go to the last thing. It's it's a good day. The Australian team can just say sorry for the value, frankly. They're trying to, as you said yesterday, he goes, they're trying to rebuild the plane while flying at one end. The other end is just like the bushfire can roar when it needs to. You mentioned dying embers, but the flames can still rise, and generally do, and you wouldn't really swap it out for anything just yet. And I think the general, now that Australia's 1-0 up in the series, we really can start the Ashes preparation. We're like, okay, this is I'm not saying queue in rack stuff, but like if the boys are going to sort us out on those decks from these positions where the top order contributes about 3 runs, then we're probably going to be okay against these. So we can now start looking forward to the Ashes and what we do. And I think the general sentiment is just going to be, boys, I know it's been a couple of years, and we're having a few more experiences of getting nervous in games beyond what we used to, because they're becoming long in the tooth and they're trying to get some new blood in and attune themselves to Test cricket. But the sentiment is still very much just like, just give us one more, boys. Don't let these coats into the series, please. Just give us one. Set us free. We'll do the rest while we're out here. That I think that is like, how can we get that happening is really now the focus of Australian cricket and the broader community writ large.
Anybody that wants to try and tell you that the Border Gavaskar is bigger than the Ashes, when have you ever 6 months out from the Border Gavaskar thought about who's going to win the toss in the first Test match? Get in the bin with that stuff. Big crowds, etc. So what I would do is at Perth, I'd bat. And what you do want to do for the pink ball Test match of the Ashes, you want a time so you bowl at night, and that's what the boys should be thinking about in the second Test match for the West Indies. Yeah,
like you can start thinking about funky declarations and stuff, because start Kratz with the pink rock, the pink cake.
Kratz with the pink.
Yeah. Hey, I'd like something to do against Kratz. And look at what the boys have given us. Like a bit of middle order security, the cartel doing what they do, and now we can start talking about Kratz in the pink in Brisbane. Boys are playing some golf. Everything's okay, and the batters just. I mean, what they'd be saying right now, like they're going to get onto their rums, etc. But like they'd be in the sheds right now, just saying like, get to training. And please observe Ian Healy's be instructional. Because he with a tennis ball on floorboards being underarmed at him as a coaching tool for guys facing 140 km/h Dukes balls on up and down bare patch decks. Because there's some very, very important guides and instructions in there around things like a forward defence. And when you're going back and across, and there's even one there where they underarm it, and he goes, this is when you can pull the ball, and he just gets an under edge. It's actually a bit full to pull, but nevertheless, it's there's a lot there that the guys can take.
They can.
So I do think it's, from the batting perspective, boys, get to training, hit some balls, or get away from the game as well. They're the two things you can do. And for the bowlers, do what you want. Feed up, boys. And we'll go to the next one in Grenada, and I don't know when it is. I think it's the 4th. There you go.
Yep. And let's get to training. Let's take our catches. Let's get 10.
If you need to take 10 and maybe some Nixon cuts and
Nixon cuts.
And see if you can take 10 in a row and make sure you do a lap before training just to warm up. Tell a few stories. Have a net. Manus, you'll be in the 3rd net, and You know, and then just look after yourselves, and we'll come back next week. But the main message is get to training.
Get to training. Yep. That's good. It's a good message, Bessa. It's a good message.
It's pretty clear. Okay. Hashtag ASKTGC. About 85% of these will be vetted. So yeah. Guys,
Let's all just fucking cool our jets. You know, let's all take a breath. You know, about the thing. Let's just take a breath.
Oh, it's just we do not have the journalistic resources to provide credible commentary at this point. You know,
and no one does. Yeah,
no one does. As it stands.
Yeah. So those in the comments, just fucking settle down.
Richard Cheekweave says, is there a worse song to play when you get a golden duck and your team is 3 for spit and don't worry, be happy blasts around the ground? Well, I don't know about that. I wonder, like, there's wisdom to that, I would say. Yeah, shit sport played by shit people, says tea time when is, of course. 22 PK says, so we fucking should have. Shrekker says, does everyone else's dick feel funny or is that just me? What does this mean for the Ashes? Says name redacted by the BCCI. JDL says, was that too easy? I mean, are we struggling for a game?
It's actually quite sad what's happened to the West Indies, isn't it? It's actually a bit of a shame, you know, because they were a very proud nation, as they were, the West Indies, a very proud nation.
That's right. It's desperately difficult to see the macro impacts of global cricket. Once again, you know, bare its teeth on the game we love. This was it's sad, and I'm desperately like disappointed in I mean, I only say that, I mean I am, but last night I was like, might lose, so Muzz says, how much would they have to pay you to get in that pool?
I was looking at that, and I was like, I mean, what's the situation with the piss in there? I mean, like, because I want to know how big it is. Because if it's like, you know, hot tub areas, then like, I think people probably aren't, you know, doing ones in there. But if it's a bit bigger, then people might feel confident with the space on offer to.
Disagree. Yeah. People piss in all pools, irrespective. They don't give a fuck. Yeah, all of them. Hot tub, short, like small, big. It's not good. But I can kind of like, rightly or wrongly, definitely wrongly, like I can have cognitive dissonance about that because the pool looks good, just looks good. So
I think I saw Trough Man in there for a bit.
Well, yeah, his element. Yeah, Jaspert, no, not reading that. If we don't win the second test by an innings and 300 runs, I'm graffitiing Princess Park.
with Voss in?
Yeah, well, Real Bradman says we may never lose again. Andrew, a pay pig on a walkabout, says never in doubt. And Ben Cumducket says middle order just dip their heads.
Perfect. That is a perfect summation for what has been 3 wonderful days of Test
wonderful
match cricket.
Days, isn't it a wonderful game?
Yeah, it's great to have Test cricket back, and it's, you know, it's times like this when you realise it is the best format. It really is. You know, you wake up on Saturday morning, you have your cup of coffee, and you realise we've got a bush horse. We've got 11 of the best cricketers. I actually can't see anyone in the world getting into this 11. That's how good they are. It's sad what's happened to the West Indies. You know, they had Joel Garner, you know, Malcolm Marshall, Brian Lara was a good player, you know, but fundamentally, Australia will never lose a Test match again, and we have to go into the weekend feeling proud about that. Mm-hmm. We'll be proud boys.
Speak for yourself.
Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Australia, the best ever. 1-0. See you next week.